days downtime, and I'll explain that later. We're finally gonna get finished corn, hopefully. Sure was a learning curve for us. Let's pray that it stays together. Well, we got lucky. All we needed was a shaft. The shaft from the local dealership was $500. We were just going to go ahead and replace the whole gearbox. Saxton was $1,000 if they had one, and that was going to be 9 hours on the road both ways. So a local friend of mine had a burnt 2388, and a story how he got it. But we were told there was a serial number break in 2388, so we did get lucky there. So the friend of mine that had the burnt 2388, I knew he had a burnt 1680 and another combine up there. He burnt the 1680. But anyways, I knew he said one time somebody gave him that other combine. And so I found the story out on it. It was in Cross Plains, Tennessee, I think. Burnt in the field. They sold it right in the field at an auction. Another local guy bought it for $87, and the engine was good. He wanted the engine, and he told Wormy if he would take his equipment hauling stuff and go up there and get it, that after all he wanted was the engine, he'd let Wormy have the rest of it. So it's a combine that keeps on giving. And we've got the actual gearbox out of it, but all we actually ended up using was just a shaft. Got a lot of foulness in this field. This is probably the worst cornfield we had as far as being grown up. So we're having to go slow. I think after he gets out of these first couple rounds, he'll be all right. But that's the story on the combine. There's my sign right there. Planted this field on the curve. I don't know how well you can tell it. Like I said in the last video, it's a boomerang. We got a full truck. Half of it was full. Half of it was full before we started today, so Maybe a little bit more than 3 acres here we like, maybe 5, but anyway, we're getting it done. Oops, who done that? We got maybe an acre, acre and a half out here. We used to not farm that. The owner of the property used to have goats and had that fenced in, and he got rid of his goats, and a couple years ago I took it in. It stays wet, but it keeps them from having to mow it. So I'm gonna check my truck driver and figure out what we're gonna do, what's on the cart and what's on the combine, if we're gonna put it in the bin or if he's gonna be back soon. And that's the last pass, 2023 corn. He's in a little growed up low spot, so I think he's getting a lot of crap in his header. But let's call it done. We've been done combining for about 2 hours. Got the header and the dump truck moved home. So we've been waiting on him. Long lines today. Thought maybe it'd get better. It's not gonna be a full load, probably about 700, 800 bushel. And he's waiting. Oh, he's done unloading on me. I'll probably carry that off tomorrow. I think Doug's got to work in the morning. We'll just have to see. We're gonna pull one load out of this bin right here because it's full. I didn't do that. Someone helping us did. But I'm not gonna complain because I've done it myself. So we gotta get that mess up. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain a little better what happened to the combine. That pulley right there, the shaft it's on is broke. So there's a gearbox in there in that little hole. They must have built the combine around that gearbox. It's got a shaft that runs up that way. Got a fill tube that runs up that way, which you can take it off. And then it's got a reservoir that hangs down. Don't know how well you can see those 2 red bolts. We had to cut that piece of steel out just to get this up enough to get the cover off for the shaft. So I've got the old gearbox. We took off the other one. We torched it out. I'll show you kind of what it looks like. So this is a look at the gearbox. That gear ran on the shaft. That's the gear that went with this box. And it had some bearings. We used the old bearings, or the bearings we already had, and the gear we already had. But it fit like that. That's a pretty heavy piece trying to get it out of that hole. There's the end of the broke shaft. So, yeah, that's it. So this is a real quick video. So just explaining really what happened. At the time of the other video, I didn't know it was going to be this much work, but it was 2 solid days trying to get the one outside out enough to get the cover off and swap out the shaft and you know, get another and cut out or whatever and send what we needed. We did have to buy a seal and a new nut, a couple bucks. So, but shaft at dealership 500 and a gearbox that, if we could find one in Sikeston, was going to be 1,000. So here my truck driver pulling back up. He hauled off the load that we cut yesterday, And so thank you for watching. Farmmerchbin.com, www.farmmerchbin.com for Thomas Farms stuff, swag, apparel. And thank you for watching, and God bless you. Well, them bottles on the truck come in pretty handy. Try and torch that other one out. Just thought I'd add that.